Hello, welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz. It's time for episode 52 of What's in My Tumbler. We are starting off with Sardonyx that is out of final polish, and I have to say this is on top of my list of my favorite rocks now. It was easy to tumble. It turned out great. The colors are fantastic. It's just really pretty. I highly recommend this. We are doing a final rinse here, so we're going to get, this is the stage 4 polish. You notice it was a little foamier than normal. That I think is just probably because I used dish soap in the cleaning cycle between stages 3 and 4. There was probably a little bit of residue left over. You know, dish soap kind of takes a while to rinse out, so that's why I think that this was a little foamier than normal on the final slurry. So I'm not concerned about it, and the rocks actually turned out really nice. So we are going to get these put back into the barrel so that we can do this is the final cleaning cycle or burnishing cycle. Either way, we're going to put some soap in here and make sure we get all of the grit out. And I actually went to the store this week, and I have borax, and I got some ivory soap. So we're all set now. No more needing to use dish soap for this. All right, so now we got the water back in there. I am going to top this up with a tablespoon of some grated Parmesan cheese. It's actually ivory dish soap. I put it through a cheese grater. I find that it's easier for me to put in there, and I can control how much soap I have in there a lot easier. So I just grate it beforehand and then scoop it out about a tablespoon for a cleaning cycle. So this is stage 4 cleaning cycle, all done. This actually went overnight, which is longer than I normally do, but I had stuff to do yesterday. So it's foamy because this was dish soap or soap rather than borax. So that's all normal. We are now going to do the final sorting. Remember at stage 1 to fill up the barrel, I had put in the last of my micro, mini, small rocks. So now I'm sorting out the larger Sardonyx pieces from the rest of the small little chips. And then I'm going to show you a few examples of what this Sardonyx looks like. It is really nice looking. So we're going to get these toweled off really quick. And I'm going to tell you these are fully dried off. So this is a piece of black, has some reds and some grays and yellows in there. Really nice example. This one is red on this side, and then when I turn it over, it's black, completely black on the other side. Really cool. I don't think this is Sardonyx. I think this is a piece of moss agate, but it could be Sardonyx. I'm not sure. And then another piece of that is just red all around with a little dot of black. So absolutely thrilled with how the Sardonyx turned out. This is a close-up of all of it. You can see there's a wide variety of colors in this. There's, whites and grays and yellows, reds, blues, not blues, but greens, black. It just turned out really nicely. I might actually get some more to tumble it again. Now that red piece right there, I think is some rhyolite and part of the mixed rock that I added in for filler, so that's not Sardonyx, but everything on the right and in screen now is definitely Sardonyx. So moving on into Jasper Zoo. This is the zebra jasper and cobra jasper that I have been slowly tumbling through stage 1, and we are going to get it all rinsed off and clean. There's nothing new here, so I'm just going to be quiet for a second. All right, okay, so now that is all rinsed off, we're going to do sorting. So I did do a video that was released earlier this week on Monday on what exactly I look for when I am deciding which rocks to move into stage 2. So this is an extremely, extremely sped up version of that. I'm not going to play the audio either because you don't want to hear me talking over myself right now. But just so if you are wanting a little more in-depth video and you're wondering why this sorting is, 1, taking longer than normal, and 2, looks a little weird, like I'm actually spending time looking at the rocks, that's why. It's about an 18-minute long video of just talking about each of these rocks, why I'm deciding to move it into stage 2 or leave it in stage 1, and etc. I go through the whole thing. So Not to be a huge advertisement for a previous video, but if you've ever wondered about that, I did do a fairly in-depth video on that. It's just called How Do I Decide, I don't know, something about how do I decide when rocks are ready for stage 2. And that was put out a couple of days ago. It's the video right before this one, actually. And so that one actually has a little hole in it now. So I think it's called a hagstone when it has a hole in it. So I do have a piece of jasper that has a hole. So now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't have a whole lot of pieces that are still needing time in stage 1. I hadn't really paid attention to it at this point. So I put everything in that cup. That is all the things that I have that are ready for stage 2. And then I looked at that and there's like 4 rocks in there. So what I decided to do is take those 4 rocks out. The 3 that I just moved to the side were rocks that need to be broken. They are not ever going to tumble and be pretty. So I didn't take the 4 rocks out. I added all of those rocks back in, and I'm starting a stage 2 barrel of Jasper Zoo. So I think I'm going to go ahead and move all of this barrel straight through to final polish, and then come back and do a second batch all the way through into final polish, just like I did with Cat Dog when I had multiple batches of that going. So this is going to go all the way through into final polish, and then we'll start a round 2 of the Jasper Zoo. Now into the Petrified Wood. This is also covered in the video from Monday, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but this is the Petrified Wood I purchased on Amazon because I couldn't find it anywhere else. And we're just checking up on it. This is in stage 1 currently, so we are going to get this all rinsed off and see how it looks. All right, like I said, this was also part of the video I did earlier this week, so this is going to be an extremely sped up version of a very long sorting. And it does take a while, but again, I don't want to... The audio is going to make me sound like a chipmunk because it's so sped up. So I'm just going to let it kind of play, and you can kind of see what I'm talking if you want to go back. So basically what I'm looking for when I decide if I'm going to move something into stage 2 is, does it have any sharp edges? If it has any sharp edges or chips, it needs to stay in stage 1. If it doesn't have any sharps or chips, does it have cracks? Are those cracks superficial, or do they go all the way through? If they go all the way through, that's a candidate for being broken. If they do not go all the way through, by the way, I used my water pick, so now my lens is all wet. Sorry, it probably stays like that for the rest of this filming. If the crack goes all the way through, then that's a candidate for being broken, hit with a hammer. In other words, trying to get that, because if I leave that crack in, there's a chance it's going to open up in a later stage. If the crack is superficial, is it a crack I can live with? Is it shallow and I'm fine with the way it looks? Do I want my rock to be perfect? If yes, then I need to get that crack out. If no, then I can move on. If I need to get the crack out, is it going to tumble out, or do I need to grind it? These are all things that I think about when I'm sorting rocks for stage 2. So this did not have enough to fill a barrel for stage 1. So I just used my filler rocks that I have because I was out of my pretty filler rocks that I get from the rock shed. So I just threw those in there. It's enough to fill up this barrel. And then these are going to go back into stage 1 for a while. And I am now, because this is parts of a geode mixed with the petrified wood, I am renaming this Pet Geode. I think it sounds like Nat Geo, and it amuses me greatly. And I'm sorry if that's too cheesy for people, but that's my humor. Anyway, now we are on the South Dakota Prairie Agates that I started last week. This has only been in stage 1 for a week, so I am not expecting any of these to be ready for stage 2. This is a very hard rock. Agate takes quite a while to get shaped, so I am expecting these to be in stage 1 for quite a while. Like I said, I'm not expecting these to be done, so this is going to stay in stage 1, spoiler alert. Alright, now that they've been rinsed. We are going to go through and do a regular sort. This was not part of the video on Monday, so this is going to be a much shorter, quicker glance through. Like I said, none of these rocks, they have had shaping. They are rounder than they were when I put them in, but they still have quite a long ways to go, and I am expecting that to stay that way for a while. I don't think I'm going to get anything ready for stage 1. In fact, there was so little wear that I didn't need to put any filler or top that barrel up at all. I also forgot to put grit in it. I did fix that when I was editing this and saw that. I did go back and put grit in it, so there will be progress. But now I have an empty barrel. What am I going to put in it? This is the Brazil mix that I got from Kingsley North at the same time that I got the Mexican mix that I just finished a couple weeks ago. So these rocks all look fairly similar, but I have a feeling that they're going to look very different even after stage 1. So I'm excited to see what these look like. I can get a hold of the list of what rocks were included in this mix, but I haven't looked at it very closely yet. So anyway, there's stage 1 grit going into this new barrel that I am very imaginatively calling Brazil mix. I can't decide if I want to change it to Brazil nuts or not. We'll have to see how these rocks start looking. But for now, this is my mix of rocks from Brazil. I got these from Kingsley North, and I am very curious to see what they look like. I'm more familiar with Mexican rocks. I think those are a little more common, Jasper stone, whatever. But I don't know that I've tumbled too many rocks from Brazil, so we'll see how this goes. Anyway, a little bit of a wandering video this week. Check out my other video if you're curious to see exactly why I send rocks into stage 2. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.